Thank you for tuning in to What Would Helen Say? In this episode, The Brewing Storm, it is very strategically named. At the time of this recording, there was actually a storm going through the area. So, unfortunately, we got disconnected multiple times. You will see me kind of trying to regain my train of thought. I repeat myself a couple of different times, trying to get back into the flow of where I was hoping we could take things in this particular session. So, this isn't necessarily the best session just because of the technical difficulties that happened. But if you are interested in learning more about what my thought process was at the time and the things that I wanted to be able to present during this session, please click on the Patreon link below where you can find out how you can access those detailed notes. So, in this session, my client brings up the fact that within the last week, an estranged friend has reached out to her and she has mixed feelings in regards to allowing this person back into her life. So we begin to explore the dynamics of the friendship and how this friendship was different than other friendships and how she can potentially move forward without engaging in her usual pattern of exploding from having so much emotions pent up over time. If you'd like to support my work, then please click on the Patreon link below where you can find out how to do that. Or, as I said before, you can find out how to get access to those premium notes. All right, so how are you doing today?
Um, Today, I would say I'm doing pretty okay. It's been like a good day for me,
Okay,
so that's good.
definitely glad to hear that. So, what about the past week? How have things been going since we last spoke?
Mm, so the past week, what can I say? It hasn't been like too crazy. I was able to get like little things done around the house, like we spoke about, like taking like a few minutes out the day.
Oh, good.
I was able to do that. I completely separated myself from my diet. Don't know what happened. Um, so I'm trying to get back to that. Um, what else? I still haven't been like sleeping as much as I should. I have to get that part together, but um, I guess like one step at a time. I was able to get a lot done around the house, and then
Okay.
I got a surprise.
Okay, good or bad?
um, I had a friend that we were friends for like years, and then she randomly stopped speaking to me, and now she is trying to come back.
Oh,
Right. So I have been trying to figure out how I want to approach that, and I'm not really sure.
okay. So when you think about that issue of this person trying to re-enter your life, and I'm assuming it is unsolicited, that, what immediate feeling comes up for you?
Um, at first I would say like I was like super angry because I'm just like it's literally been I want to say it's about to be going on like the second year.
Oh,
So it's just like why now? When I feel like things are looking up for me, like I'm happy, there's a lot going on that I told you, So it's just like why now? Like why are you coming in now and causing confusion? Like what
mm,
is it now that you feel that you have to come back? And it's just like it's still not being discussed, like, by her, trying to enter my life again. She didn't like contact me. She contacted someone else first and had like a weird like epiphany, I'm assuming, I don't know. And then she reached out to me like days later, but it was like, oh, remember when I'm like, why are we discussing good memories when like who's gonna address the elephant in the room?
mm,
And I don't like when people try to like awkwardly like laugh or joke them ways back into something or out of a situation. And it's just like, come on, we're grown now. Like, why do we have to still like dance around the topic like a little kid? I don't want to sweep things under the rug and move on. Like, I want to address it head on and figure it out. It's either, we're done completely or, you need to figure it out to see
Okay.
how either we move on or so that doesn't happen again. But I'm still indecisive on how I want to approach the whole thing.
Okay. So I'm a little curious. Like, in the past, when you guys did have a friendship, like, what were the dynamics of this friendship? Because this is only our second time meeting. And when we met last time, you were telling
Hmm.
me how a lot of your friends kind of rely on you to be the go to person and
Yeah.
to do this and to do that. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what was the dynamics with this person? Did it fall in line with everything else or was it different?
That friendship was different.
Okay, how so?
Like, we're literally like, you're not like we basically became friends during college. So it was a point where, you're not seeing her without me and vice versa. Like that's how we always were, two peas in a pod. And then it's just a situation came about where she started to deal with a certain person and it became domestic at one point. So when I realized that I'm getting involved too much and like you're relying on me to basically like get you out of it constantly, I decided to just separate myself
Mm.
just for my own sanity and my own safety.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically her reasoning for deciding to not be my friend anymore. Um, and I feel like, we have like really, really close ties, like, we're super close. So it was very, very hurtful because I'm just like what? Like, why do you decide to just like leave me in the dark now because of, that person? But as far as our friendship, I never felt like used or anything by her.
Okay.
Except for towards the end, when her situation with the guy, whatever. But other than that, it was never that kind of thing. We were like, we had fun. We were never like depressed or like I didn't feel drained after speaking to her. Like, it was just like a breath of fresh air when we spoke. And it wasn't those situations where, how you have like certain friends where if you would go like days or weeks without speaking to each other, not just because of like no issue or anything, but just, we're busy. It's life. But like, as soon as you're around each other, it's like you never missed a beat. And that's how it would be because, we were both busy. She lived a few hours away. So when we did see each other, it was just a complete, everything was perfect.
Okay.
There was never any issues between us.
Okay. So, taking that in consideration, I hope she's willing to have a conversation with you because there's a lot of possibilities that could, play a factor in this. Um, it's very common for women who are in abusive relationships for the abusive partner to kind of make them, estrange themselves from anybody who may be a
Yeah.
resource, a help, a way out,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, because that's a very real dynamic. And if she's not really talking about that yet, it's hard for you to know if that was really playing a role or not.
Right. Yeah. Her first thing, like I said, it was just like, oh, remember when, this was years ago. She brought up a memory that we had. And then I was like, okay, like, what's the reason? Like, and I'm just like, you are the reason. Like, you started. And she's like, oh, well, we're both stubborn. No, we're not. You are stubborn. Like, what do you? It's like, don't try to like deflect from the issue at hand. Like, you're the issue. So, explain to me exactly what happened, what went wrong, and why are you here now? And she's still like, oh well, it's up to you. Like, how is this gonna go? It's not up to me. You're reaching out for a reason. So why are you reaching
Hmm.
out?
Okay.
And I don't like people that do that. Like, it bothers
Well, I don't blame you because she's not being
me.
transparent. She's like, hey,
Right.
let's be friends again, but I'm not going to tell you what's behind curtain number one, you know?
Right. Right.
So, okay, I get that. I get where you're coming from because there's a part of it that sounds like she's not really taking responsibility for her role in how this friendship fell
Right,
apart.
right. I feel like an apology is needed, but I've never really known her to apologize, honestly speaking.
Oh, well, that's not good either.
Right. So it's like now, I'm thinking about it more like as I'm saying it out loud, but I've never really known her to be one to like apologize for anything. So, and it's like that's what I want. I want an apology first and then an explanation after. But I personally don't know how to even ask for that without it coming off. I guess you can say like aggressive because I know how I can get sometimes.
Okay.
So I don't really know how to confront the issue either. So I feel like we're both like kind of walking on eggshells, kind of, because like she kind of knows me, really, really well. So I feel like she's kind of walking on eggshells where she doesn't want to. She feels like she doesn't want to say the wrong thing either.
Okay.
But it's just like I don't care. Just say it.
So, so right now where you're at is that you would like to address this issue, but you're not really sure of what to say and how to say it so that you don't kind of like cause an explosion rather than be able to, bring things to a place of like seeing eye to eye on things.
Yeah, basically. Like I don't want to be the reason for explosion number. I don't know whatever this would be, or like would an explosion be something that's needed at this point in order for us to move forward?
Okay. So, what I would suggest is that you try to use an approach, and it is from the Gottmans, which is called Gentle Startup. It consists of three pieces where you talk about how you feel, you connect how you
Mhm.
feel to the situation that caused you to feel that way, not the person's behavior. And then the third thing is you then tell the person what you need them to do in order to help you resolve feeling this way. So, an example might be I'm feeling betrayed and abandoned because of how the friendship ended so abruptly. And I need an explanation from you as to what happened and why. Sorry, I didn't know what happened because I heard a sound on my end and there was nothing and I was like, "Oh no, I lost her." So, okay. Um so I don't know how much you heard before we got disconnected a little bit.
I know you were mentioning like the different ways or whatever to like approach it. Um, so I believe that you were on number three actually.
Okay. So the step number 3 is being able to tell the other person what it is you need them to do to help you resolve where you're at. So an example of this
Mhm.
might be, "Hey, I'm feeling betrayed. I'm feeling abandoned because of how the friendship ended, and I need you to explain to me what happened so that I can resolve these feelings of abandonment." So that's
Okay.
just an example. I don't know if those are exactly, the way you feel about the situation, the words you want to use, but it's, give you an idea.
I think so. And I also like I noticed like this session in the last one, you said like abandonment and I feel like is that like an issue with me? Like I don't know.
I mean,
Like
honestly,
what is
what
my
is.
problem?
We're getting there. We're getting there. It takes time to reveal all these things. But from what I've heard so far, it does sound like there's emotional abandonment because you haven't had someone that you've shared with me so far. I mean, it's totally possible there has been someone in there in the mix somewhere and I haven't heard about that person yet, but it seems like you're constantly in these positions where you have all these feelings that are going on for you and you want to be able to share them with someone else, but everybody is either running away because, oh, they got their needs met by, I don't need anything from you, or, oh, wait, you're being too emotional now, I don't want to deal with that. Like there's always
Yeah,
some other reason for why somebody is not being 100% there for you emotionally.
yeah. That sounds that sounds right. And that is insane. But yeah, it sounds exactly like what it is. So then it's just like, yeah, I mean, if that's like a thing where people are like running away or, they're not really, I guess, they don't really bother by my emotions, it's just like, why even bother? And that's why I feel like I keep a lot to myself because what's really the purpose?
I get it. You're tired of being disappointed. You're tired of being hurt. You're tired of having this hope that this time will be different, only to get the same results over and over and over again. I get that.
Right.
But I also want to introduce something else, which is true communication is only happening if there's 100% sharing of minds. So, what that means is as long as there are pieces of you that you're holding back and you're tucking away and you're saying, "Ooh, can't share that. No, let me put that over here." That no, like as long as you're doing that and you're withholding pieces of yourself, you're not having a 100% true and honest communication with anyone. And the really sad part about that is if you're not having that open communication, then there's something about your connection with other people that just doesn't feel complete.
Hmm. So how do I get at that, I guess?
Okay?
Like I feel it, like I know that, I hold back a lot. Like I feel it. Or it's like I don't know, like I will overshare on certain things and other things it's just like I'm just like keeping that to myself. I'm not telling you that. And I notice that I do that a lot. Whether it's like relationship or friendship, whatever. I don't know.
Okay. So I know that this is a very delicate balance to achieve because part of being able to be open and vulnerable with other people is there has to be a sense of reciprocity from that person. That person also has to be willing to be open and vulnerable with you as well. Otherwise, you can't do it.
Right.
So, there's a very gentle balance that needs to be made, but there are certain people, if the relationship is important enough to them, that they're willing to learn how to be more vulnerable.
Hmm.
So that's something you have to consider first with the type of relationship that, you're interacting with this person. Um, is this the type of relationship where you think this person could be willing to be vulnerable with you?
Okay. Um, I don't know. I'll try. Let me see. But I don't know. I feel that she is also much like me, I guess, and that's what made us click so very well. But much like me in the sense that it's rare that we would have like those like vulnerable or like I said, like like sad moments the way so like I would have that with my other friends where, they're opening up to me, they would tell me certain things and it's like they look to me and they're always saying like, oh, like you're the therapist. And it's just like I said, they're constantly like dumping their emotions on me. But with this friend it was like the complete opposite. Like we didn't have like those type of conversations, I guess. So I feel like that's why it's a little bit more hard now for us to have this conversation now because it would make us open up, I guess, that door for vulnerability in a sense. I don't know
Hmm.
if that makes sense, but yeah.
Well, that's an interesting dynamic. So, so I have to make sure I'm hearing this correctly that with this particular friend, you got along well with her, but you guys, like, that wasn't your thing to be vulnerable with each other. It was just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, I feel we enjoy the company, each other's company more. Any vulnerable moment, it would literally be like, okay, let me tell you what happened. Okay, what should I do? All right, cool. I should do that. All right, cool. And then we move on. Like it was never like, where with my other friends it would be like sometimes days and days of them like constantly just like dumping or, you know, crying and, all of this and like super sad, super depressed and everything like that, where this other person, even from like by everyone else, she's looked at as the light in the room. Like she's always super happy, super positive, and it's just like I know that she holds back a lot as well.
Mm,
So we never really allowed ourselves to get to that point because, like I said, we have a lot of the same similarities in a sense where um, we both come from single parents who were young when they had us. We're the oldest. We have younger siblings. Like we have a lot of responsibility. We have most of the same goals. So it was just we clicked on that type of thing.
got
So
you.
I don't know.
No,
I
I
feel like
think
I
I'm
kind of
following
went.
you. I definitely think I'm following you in terms of it sounds like it was like a superficial vulnerability. Like you guys could have this surface level
Yeah.
discussion of, oh, here's the highlights, here are the facts of what happened, A, B, and C, but let's not really talk about how I felt about it happening.
Right.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. So I think with this person, you kind of practice and see what you're comfortable saying and how you want to say it. And when you're comfortable with that presentation, to then be able to say, all right, here's what it is. You know, this is how I'm feeling about how the friendship ended. If you're really serious about rekindling this friendship, this is what I need. And I need more than what we had when we were friends before. And see if that's something she's truly willing to do. And if she is, then it should start with why the friendship ended. So, do you feel comfortable with being able to tell her, how you feel about the friendship ending and what you need from her at this time?
I know that I want to see that, but I'm just unsure of what the response will be on her end, only because, like I said, like she is trying to like awkwardly like joke and laugh her way back into it. So it's like I don't want to sit here and I like literally pour everything out and then you respond like with the laugh or trying to like dismiss it in a sense because then I'm gonna be very very mad. Like then it's gonna be a problem for me.
No, I understand that. I mean, I think that's a very natural reaction to anyone, potentially making you feel dismissed or like your feelings aren't that important or you're somehow overreacting. I mean, I think that's a very natural reaction. Um, so, coming back then, I don't want you to get too deep in regards to your feelings to be able to start the conversation. I mean, even if you did say, hey, I feel, hurt, disappointed, abandoned, a couple of feeling words, and that's it. And then you kind of put the ball back in her court to see how she reacts to that. Um, I think that's enough to just get things started. I don't think you need to completely pour your heart out before you really know where she
Hmm.
stands.
Right. Okay. I'll try that and see where it goes.
Okay. And are you comfortable like having like a phone conversation to tell her that, or are you better with texting or emailing it to her? Like what's your level of comfort with that?
Well, right now we're texting. I will say I feel in a sense that she actually wants to see me in person
Okay.
because of one of her responses to my message. Um, but I personally don't think that I'm ready for that yet. I feel like too much has occurred within this, year and a half of us not really speaking. And there's, for me on my end, there's more anger than it is hurt. So I wouldn't want that to escalate in person.
Okay. So tell me about the anger that's there.
Well, for one, she's my oldest daughter's godmother. Um, she she didn't really see her as much because she was like so wrapped up in the relationship. And on her second birthday, although the guy lived literally like 10 minutes, she didn't show up. She just basically just like disappeared and then randomly text my boyfriend at the time and it was like she sent like a whole paragraph, like, "Oh, happy birthday, I love you," and all of this, blah blah blah, like about my daughter. And I'm just like, well, she's two, she can't read, so your presence would be more appreciated than you sending a text that she cannot respond to. And like we had like a birthday party at the house, and she didn't send a happy birthday text until her like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. It was just useless at that point.
Oh.
And also, after we did stop speaking, I had saw her with the guy at a mutual friends event, and I was cordial, even with him. And it's like, even he was just like, y'all have been friends for too long, so y'all shouldn't let something so small come in between y'all. And I'm like, well, what is the something? And
Hmm.
it's just like, where is this something? I'm trying to figure it out. But when I saw her, she made it seem like everything was perfectly fine. So it's just, and recently she has been texting like my boyfriend and whatnot about me. And it's just like, my number has not changed. My number is still the same. My social media is still the same. So why are you reaching out to him rather than me if the issue is with me? In between all of this, we also were all media and everything. She just cut everyone off completely. Even our mutual friends that we had, she cut them all off as well. So it's just like, what were you going through that you feel that you had to take it to that extreme?
Hmm.
When, if it had anything to do with a relationship, if nobody else, I knew. You know what I mean? Like, no one else knew what she was going through until it really got to like a really, really big point where another friend told me what happened. But other than that, anytime they had like a fight or anything, like I said, he lived 10 minutes away, so literally 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to pick her up. You're like, you're back at my house, and everything's cool. And it's like in the back of my mind, I know that you're gonna go back to him, but I'm still gonna be here for you as a friend. So, at what point did you decide to say, like, you know what? Well, I already knew it was gonna happen. Um, and at one point, she had told me, like, well, she didn't like that I didn't respond to them being back together. What was I supposed to say? If you're back with him, I felt like that's what you wanted to do, so I'm just gonna run my business. I'm not gonna question you about it. I'm not gonna like scold you and oh, you shouldn't be back. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna mind my business about it. So that's where the anger is for me because why are you mad at me over a decision that you made. You're an adult. I shouldn't have to tell you what's wrong and what's right when you know, and exactly what I imagined in my head. Like I never voiced it out to her out loud to say like, oh well, he's gonna do X, Y, Z, and this is how far he's gonna go. I didn't say it to her. I just sat back and minded my business, and exactly what I said was exactly what happened.
Okay.
But again, like, why would you be mad at me? I feel like you have like misdirected anger, and I just don't get it. Like, how can you be mad? I feel like the only person basically that was there for you, like, not even her mom knew what she was going through. Like, no one knew except for me and my boyfriend. To
Okay.
where we're literally like, yeah, it's just a lot. So that's where the anger is for me. And also, I feel like I said, I involved my daughter by basically allowing you to come into her life and for you to just like up and leave. Like, don't do that. Because
Right.
is this going to be like a repeated thing where now she's older, so she's more aware of people. Like, she can recognize your face, your name. She knows people by voices. So don't think that you're going to come back now and like, oh, God, mommy is here. And then a year later, it's the same situation.
No, I understand that. Um, from what you just described, I'm wondering if there's some feelings of betrayal. Because if you said that you were there for her, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when there was nobody else, there, no one else knew what was going on, and
Hmm.
that your sacrifice of being there and to prioritize her safety and her well being was just kind of tossed to the side. Like it didn't mean anything.
Yeah,
It wasn't as important as whatever else was happening.
yeah, basically. And that's why I feel that I'm trying to like be very careful with how I approach it. I know that if I do come across as like super angry, it's not gonna work out well. I know that for a fact.
So, my question is, at what point in time would it be okay for you to say, hey, these are my real feelings? I'm mad.
Um, I don't know because like I've spoken to other people about the situation, like other friends or whatever, and a lot of them feel that I'm always like the angry one. I'm always the aggressive one.
Hmm.
So it's just like, okay, now I'm trying to take like a different approach to it now, but it's just like that's not me. I'm very head on about certain things, and I'm very, I guess, I don't mind confrontation. Like it doesn't bother me. Whereas a lot of timid and more reserved, and they try to like just quickly just like like hide it and let's get over it. Like I'm not that kind of person because I can't walk away from a situation still with like questions. I still need to know what is the problem. Like not like what, just not just for her either. It's just like a lot of people. I feel that we should be at the point where you can say whatever you need to say. I should be able to say whatever I need to say, and then we figure out where do we go from here. Like, why do we just have to constantly just
Okay, I missed that end part that you said because you froze. You said, why do we have to constantly what?
like sweep it under the rug and just move on to the next day, rather than like just facing it head on and whatever's that?
Okay. Okay. That sounds like another repeat of a dynamic you mentioned last time of feeling like everything gets swept under the rug.
Yes, all the time. So it's like when I try to be more vocal, then I'm looked at as aggressive or a bully or a mean. But then when I don't say anything at all, it's just like everyone's just like walking all over the place.
Okay. So I have to balance this out because I'm not sure if I am totally hearing myself. So I don't know if you put it on speaker.
Well, I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. So, darn it, lost my train of thought. Oh, so if other people are perceiving you as angry and aggressive, then I'm wondering exactly what type of approach you're taking.
So I know that I have like horrible communication skills. I know that. I think I told you before, like I will let things like continue and just like keep on happening, and then like it'll spiral, and then once it gets to that point, then like everything just comes out. So I'm pretty sure that comes out completely wrong. I'm very very aware of that. Like I know that. So I feel that that's why they may feel that way. Like I can admit that now, but I still don't think that it's an excuse for me to basically not be able to express myself.
Okay. So I advocate for there to be a balance here. I want people to be able to express themselves, but what I don't want happening is that people use expressing themselves as an excuse to be hurtful, mean, things of that
Right,
nature.
right. And
Okay.
that's what I don't want. That's what I want to work on, because there are certain people that I care about, and I feel that even though she like gets on my last entire nerve right now with this whole situation, I do still kind of like care about her. So I don't want to be the one to be like, to say like really hurtful things,
Okay.
because that's kind of the direction that I would normally go. But I don't want to do that.
I think you need an outlet. I think you need a safe place to be able to say everything you want to say without actually saying it to her. So that way
Mhm.
you get the opportunity to release all this energy, but it's not directed at someone to where they can be hurt.
Right.
So I think this could be a great opportunity for you to do like a voice journal.
Mhm.
Just turn your phone on to record and just let it go.
Yeah. I think that would be good. I think I can start like doing that, especially when I feel myself like I don't know. If I feel myself like getting like super super angry, or if I know that I'm gonna get to that point where I do say something hurtful or mean, then maybe I can like express it that way, so I'm not basically telling it to the person directly. And like now that we're like sitting here discussing it, kind of, it's like I don't want to excuse, her approach, but it's like I wonder if that's the reason why she's like trying to like awkwardly like joke her way back into it now, where she doesn't want to tell her true feelings either.
So there's a possibility that she's afraid of being vulnerable because you might explode.
Yep. Because I know that she knows she was wrong. I know that 100%. So it's like in her mind, I feel that she's like, okay, how can I like lightly step my way back into it without her really, really, basically digging into me about it. So let me just try to like lighten up the mood first, and then maybe we can have the conversation later, or maybe we could just surpass the conversation completely and just, get back into the swing of things how they used to be.
Okay. So even just hearing that, it makes me feel like the best route for you to take is to tell her, your feelings and what you need her to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out today.
Well,
I
I'm
am.
definitely
I really
curious to
have to.
hear how it
It's
goes.
literally bothering me.
So, okay. I really want you to do the voice recording, um,
Mhm.
just to work through some of those feelings that you have yourself, and that way you can become clearer on what exactly you really want to say. Because I know everybody's been there in those moments where you're really emotional about something, you're very charged, and there's so much that you just want to get out to get that energy out. But it's not always the things that you really want to say. Thank you for watching this episode of What Would Helen Say? Hopefully, you were able to follow along with all the breaks and cuts in the recording. Um, but next week, the weather is looking great. So hopefully, you'll tune back in where we get to explore what exactly happened when my client reached out to this old friend. Again, if you like what I'm doing and you would like to support my work, or if you're interested in gaining premium access to detailed notes and how you can apply these tools to your own life, please click on the Patreon link below for more information. Thank you.